everybody. We're working on our WordPress child theme. In the last installment, we were able to do a child theme based on the HTML5 reset. We reset our styles. And so if you have a site that looks kind of like this, this is what it should be. And what we're going to do today is we're going to add Bootstrap, the latest version of Bootstrap. And we're only going to load what we need to load. But when we do it, if we do it right, it'll go from a site that looks kind of like this to this. And all you're really going to be doing is linking to a few style sheets and one JavaScript. And the rest it will take care of itself. So this was my other class, and this is the one that we're going to be working on now. In order to do this, you need to get Bootstrap. So I want you to go to Get Bootstrap. So the website is getbootstrap.com. And right here at the top, you have a download Bootstrap. I want you to note that the version is 3.3.4. That will come into play a little bit later on. Click Download Bootstrap. It's going to take you to a new page. Now, all we need is the one on the left that says Download Bootstrap. So what I'd like you to do is click Download Bootstrap and save it. And it's going to save to your Downloads folder. And then when it comes time to extract, you're going to need to extract it to a specific location. But go ahead and start downloading it. So at this point, mine's been downloaded. I already did it earlier today. But once you have it all downloaded and you can see it on here, I want you to go to Show in Folder. You want to see it in the folder. And when you do that, you should see something like this. You'll see the bootstrap-3.3.4.zip. Okay, so that's what you want to see. Mine has the one around it because I already downloaded it earlier today. Okay, the trick to this is you want to extract the files to your child theme folder. So what, actually, no, let me take it back. You're going to extract it to a folder near your child theme folders because when you extract these, it creates its own separate folder. We don't want that. So just right click on it and choose Extract All. And then get it to a location that's close to where your child theme folder is. So I'm going to put mine directly into my student folder. Okay, so here's my folder here. And so I'm just going to download it right there. So or extract it to that folder. I'm going to click OK. Because this little checkbox says Show Extracted Files When Complete, it's going to open it in that folder and you can see what's going on. So here's my folder. And I already did a Bootstrap project earlier, but this is the one we're working on. And you'll see that HTML5 reset theme. That's where it's gonna go in there. So what I want you to do, though, before you do that, is open up this Bootstrap folder. I want you to copy these three folders, okay? CSS, fonts, JS. And you're going to stick them right in your child theme folder. Okay, so just right-click on them, choose Copy. Then find your child theme folder. Wrong. HTML5 reset child. That's where I want to put it. I want to put it in this folder. So when I open it, I should see functions, readme, style, and then get if you're showing the hidden folders. If you don't see get, it's probably still there anyway. And you're going to paste your files in. Okay. So we're only taking what we need from Bootstrap. And by the way, WordPress uses some of the things that are in the WordPress will use some of the items that are with Bootstrap already existing. For example, Bootstrap uses jQuery. Well, your WordPress site, WordPress 4, already has jQuery built in, so we don't have to use their technique for it. All we need to do is pull in the right JavaScript and CSS folders. So if you open up the JS folder, you're going to see 3 folders here. And I do not think, I could be corrected on here, but I don't think you need the NPM. But if you want to look at it, we're just going to edit with Notepad++. I want you to see what's in there. And it's referencing folders that we don't even have. They don't exist. It's saying go out 2 folders and look for a JS, transition.js folder. It says it's auto-generated. So what I'm going to do is just delete it. And I don't think that's going to cause a problem, but we can always bring it back if we ever need to. So I'm just going to start deleting anything I don't need. And then the other thing is we have Bootstrap and Bootstrap Min. I want to show you the difference between them so you know what's going on. So if you just right click on Bootstrap, you can see what Bootstrap looks like. Edit with Notepad++. And take that out of the editor. And we can see Bootstrap, here we go. And this is all the code formatted in a way we can read. Lots of line returns and tabs and things like that. Well, let's take a look at bootstrap.min, and you will see a big difference. This is exactly the same file as before, but there's one key difference. There are no line returns, no spaces, and no tabs, except for a space right here because it's inside of quotation marks. Things like that you will see. But outside of the quotation marks, or only when you need them, like throw new error, we need them there. But compare the two. This is Bootstrap with all the formatting, and here it is without all the formatting. Now take word wrap off and check this out. It's 7 lines of code, and only 2 lines of code are actually doing any JavaScript. Okay, so that's called minimize. It's a minimized file, and so it just gets rid of all the extra space. So why is that significant? Why am I mentioning it? Well, I'm mentioning it mainly because they are both the same file. We do not need both of them. And if we're going to get rid of one, let's get rid of the one that's twice the size of the other, or almost twice the size. So if you notice, that's a difference of 30K just by extra line returns and tabs and things. So just delete bootstrap.js. And all we're going to leave is bootstrap.min.js. Okay, so that's all you need left. So just delete the others. Then we're going to go into the CSS folder, and you will see the same thing. Now, we're going to keep anything with the .map in it because I'm not sure what it's doing, and I don't want to delete something that I don't know about. But I know that bootstrap.min.css is exactly the same as this one. So we're going to get rid of the ones that don't have the .min in them. So I delete bootstrap.css, and I delete bootstrap-theme.css. And we will just link to the minimized files so that we can reduce our file load size. Now I'm going to leave the map files because there's somehow that might actually be linking to it internally. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. On fonts, these are just different versions of glyphicons. And so that's a handy thing to have. We're going to keep those. So everything else stays the same. What we really need to do is we just added 3 new folders and a bunch of new files. We are working on Git, if you've been following this tutorial. And so if you are using Git, we need to add and start tracking those 3 folders. So what I'd like you to do is, if you're doing that, I'd like you to copy the address of that folder. Or you can just click off to the side and click it this way. And then I'd like you to go into Git. And I already have it open from another one. I'm going to type CD to change directory, and I'm going to right click, single quote, hit enter. And then it should change to the new folder, and I don't know why it's taking so long, but there we go. And so you should see your folder. It should have this thing that says master on there. And the first thing I always do in Git is git status. Okay, it's usually the first thing I do. Git status just tells me what's going on. It should show me that I've got some new files that are not being tracked. And sure enough, there it is. Okay, so you should be there. What you're going to do next is git add dot. It's very simple. Git add dot, and then hit enter. Okay, okay, so I just hit enter, and it gives me these warnings. Don't worry about the warnings. LF stands for line feed, and it's saying line feeds will be replaced by carriage return line feeds. It's just about line endings when you hit enter. Don't worry about it. There's just warnings anyway. It's not like it's an error. Okay, so once you've added it, I want you to commit it. Git commit -m and just put adding bootstrap files. And then I always just start with the verb usually. Add, create, modify, delete, whatever. Either past tense or present tense, it doesn't really matter. It's a good idea to keep consistent, but it really doesn't matter. It's just your notation as to what you did. Go ahead and hit enter. And it gives you warnings and a bunch of these create mode things. So this is basically saying we've created all these files. We're now tracking them. So if we make any changes, it will track that. Theoretically, we could have ignored those files, but I just went ahead and added them. We're not going to modify them anyway. So at this point, you're good on Git. And so if you got those, then you're good to go. Okay, so now what we want to do is we need to be able to add the CSS and the JavaScript files. So what we're going to need to do is modify functions. Remember the other day we modified the functions to load up the child theme. So I want you to just right-click on functions in your child theme folder, edit with Notepad++. And notice how, remember how we did that in QStyle? We had the two different parent style sheets, and then we did this for the child. What we're going to do is the following. So I already commented in, we're going to load the Bootstrap CSS files, and we're going to load the Bootstrap JavaScript files. And we're going to use the same general technique we did there. But there's one key difference on the JavaScript. But for now, just go ahead and copy this and paste it in here. Okay, so I just did a copy and paste from here to here. But we're going to make a change. Okay, we do have a change. I learned this before. We're going to give a name for this, but it can't be the same as child style. We already named it that. So we're going to change this, and we're going to change it based on our Bootstrap. Remember what it was. Let's go take a look. It's bootstrap.min. So we want to load bootstrap.min.css, and I'm going to copy right out of there. Copy, just like that. Okay. Now, this is Bootstrap. It's not the Bootstrap theme. I'm just going to call it Bootstrap here. And we're going to get the style sheet directory URI. And then instead of style, we need to change this to be CSS, actually, excuse me, /CSS /bootstrap.min.css. And we do not need this array parent style anymore. So you're just going to get rid of that whole thing. Okay? So it'll look like this. WP-NQ style bootstrap, comma, get style sheet directory URI. Hit enter. We're going to do the same thing, only now I want you to copy and paste it and change this from Bootstrap to Bootstrap theme. And then this will be changed too, but let's make sure we get it right. I like to just copy the actual file name there. Make sure you have that .css in the end. Some people miss that because they're hiding those extensions. And that should work to get your style sheets in. Then we have to load the Bootstrap JavaScript file. It is similar yet different because we're not going to get style, we're not going to enqueue styles, we're going to enqueue script. Now, we're not yet done, and so we need to load the Bootstrap file, but I've run low on time, so I'm going to extend this to the next video, and we're going to talk about loading it, and then testing it, and then troubleshooting when problems arrive, because there is a problem in here that you won't see right away, but you will eventually. So anyway, when we get to that, I'll tell you what that's all about. Stay tuned.